If you've ever glanced at a menu, seen words like jiaozi, wontons, and baozi, and just kind of lumped them all together as dumplings, hey, you're definitely not alone. But it turns out that one little English word doesn't even come close to covering the incredible, delicious, and super diverse world of Chinese dumplings. So today, we are going to fix that. Right? It seems like such a simple question, but the answer is surprisingly complicated. I mean, is it a fluffy steamed bun? Or is it one of those delicate shrimp-filled things floating in a savory soup? Or maybe it's that crispy bottom pot sticker you can't get enough of. Well, they're all called dumplings, but they are worlds apart in texture, taste, and tradition. And that's the culinary puzzle we're going to solve together. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that confusion. And the truth of it, really. It shows just how much nuance gets lost in translation. But don't you worry, because by the end of this, you're going to have the tools to see way beyond that single word and really appreciate the vast universe it's trying to describe. Okay, so trying to understand the world of dumplings can feel a little overwhelming, for sure. But here's the secret. It all starts with just 3 fundamental families. And for right now, let's just forget about the fillings or how they're cooked. The real key, the absolute foundation, is the dough itself. Get these 3 down, and you've basically got the secret to coterine. First up, we've got jiaozi. Now, this is probably what pops into your head when you hear Chinese dumpling. It's that classic crescent-shaped guy made from a super simple, unleavened dough, literally just wheat and water. Think of this as your workhorse dumpling. It's versatile, it's beloved, and it's the foundation for so many famous styles. Next up, the wonton. And the big difference here, it's all about the wrapper. It's way thinner, it's often square, and here's the key, it usually has egg in it. That egg gives it this incredibly delicate, silky, almost slippery texture when it's boiled. The Cantonese name says it all. It literally means swallowing a cloud. And that's exactly why they're so perfect floating in soups. And finally, we have baozi. This one's kind of in a league of its own. Unlike the other two, its dough is leavened. That means it has yeast. So instead of getting a pasta-like wrapper, you get a soft, fluffy, bread-like bun. It's always steamed to get that perfect, pillowy texture. Totally different experience. Okay, so we've got our 3 families down: jiaozi, wonton, baozi. But how do we get from those basics to all the amazing regional varieties? Well, the answer, believe it or not, comes down to one simple fact about geography and agriculture. Get this one idea, and it unlocks the entire system of why dumplings are the way they are, wherever you find them. It all boils down to this. Northern China is colder and drier, perfect for growing wheat. So naturally, their dumplings, which are mostly jiaozi, evolved to have thicker, chewier, heartier wrappers. But in the milder, wetter south, rice is king. This led to all sorts of innovation, creating thinner, more delicate wrappers that often use rice or tapioca starch to get those beautiful, see-through crystal skins. It's just brilliant. So now that we have our 3 families and the north-south rule in our back pocket, let's take a quick culinary trip. You're about to see exactly how this logic plays out in some of the most famous and delicious dumplings on the planet. First stop, the north. And guantiai, what we call pot stickers, are the perfect northern jiaozi. You've got that satisfyingly chewy wheat wrapper, but the real genius is how they're cooked. You pan-fry the bottom till it's golden and super crispy, then you add a splash of water, cover the pan, and steam the top half until it's tender and juicy. That contrast in texture, it's just incredible. All right, let's head south to Guangdong for a dim sum icon, har gao. This is the southern way of thinking in a single bite. The wrapper is this delicate mix of wheat and tapioca starch, which comes from a plant that loves the southern climate. This lets them roll it unbelievably thin, so when it steams, it becomes translucent, perfectly showing off that bright pink shrimp inside. It is all about elegance. Staying in the south, let's pop over to Shanghai for the legend itself, xiaolongbao, the soup dumpling. This is just pure culinary magic. You see, the filling isn't just pork. It's also got these little cubes of jellied pork stock. So when you steam the dumpling, that solid jelly melts into a rich, savory broth, creating a little pocket of hot soup right there inside that delicate wrapper. Amazing. But hey, eating them can be a dangerous game. That soup is incredibly hot. So here's your pro tip. Get the dumpling onto your spoon, nibble a tiny hole in the skin to let some steam out, carefully sip out that glorious broth, and then you can dip the rest in some black vinegar and enjoy the whole thing. Trust me, no burns, just bliss. And this just goes to show how even within the South, local flavors create incredible variety. Over in Sichuan, they take a silky southern-style wonton, they fold it into this cool shape called crossed hands, but instead of a gentle soup, they drench it in a sauce that is pure Sichuan, a fiery, fragrant, and mouth-numbing mix of chili oil and Sichuan peppercorns. Wow. So we've talked about the what, the where, and the why of how dumplings are made. But to really truly get dumplings, you have to understand that they are so much more than just a meal. They're like a vessel for history, a symbol of family, and a true cornerstone of tradition. I mean, the story of the dumpling goes back over 1,800 years. Legend says it actually started as medicine. A doctor named Zhang Zhangding supposedly wrapped warming herbs in dough shaped like ears to cure people's frostbite. Centuries later, that crescent shape reminded people of ancient Chinese money, so dumplings became a symbol of wealth. And today, of course, they're the absolute heart of the Lunar New Year feast, representing family coming together. And every single fold and pleat is just packed with meaning. That classic crescent jiaozi, it looks like an old gold ingot, so it symbolizes wealth. The delicate wonton, with its gathered top, is said to represent the family all together in unity. Some people even see the shape of a little boat, wishing you a smooth and safe journey through life. And these traditions are absolutely alive and well. To this day, families will sometimes hide a clean coin in one single dumpling at New Year's. And whoever gets that one, well, they're set for a year of extra good fortune. There's even a little superstition that says you should always serve dumplings in neat little rows, not just in a messy tile, because that orderliness is supposed to ensure a smooth and successful life. Okay, I know that was a ton of information, but we can boil it all down into one simple, really powerful tool that I like to call the dumpling compass. This is your main takeaway. It's the mental framework you can use from this day forward. So from now on, whenever you come across a Chinese dumpling, just ask yourself these three simple questions. First, what family is it in? Just look at the wrapper. Is it thin, silky, or fluffy? Second, apply that north-south rule. Does the wrapper feel thick and hearty or thin and delicate? And third, taste the flavor. The filling and the sauce are those final clues that'll tell you exactly where that delicious little parcel comes from. So we've seen how a simple dumpling can be a map of a country's geography, a page right out of a history book, and a symbol of what a culture values most. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If this one food can tell such a rich and complex story, what incredible story is hidden inside the food that you love the most? Thanks for joining me.